The Central Bank of Nigeria is the apex bank of Africa's most populous nation. Established in 1959, the CBN, as it is more popularly known, has stayed with its core vision of delivering price and financial system stability and promoting sustainable economic development. Operating within the legal framework of the CBN Act of 2007, the Central Bank of Nigeria continues to make policies that promote stability and continuity in economic management, in addition to its more widely acknowledged responsibility as the regulator of Nigeria's banking industry. Recently, however, Nigerians are beginning to see a different angle to the central bank. Today, the CBN is driving economic growth in Nigeria, literally to the grassroots. The CBN is spearheading efforts aimed at tackling the hindrances to Nigeria's economic growth by encouraging local production and discouraging unnecessary importation of goods which have local substitutes.
It is shameful that we have to import toothpick. I am saying that it is shameful for us to import fish in sauce, canned fish in sauce, into the country and sardine.
On the 23rd of June 2015, the CBN released a circular listing 41 items not valid for foreign exchange through the official forex window. That policy was to go hand in hand with other measures by the bank to massively increase local production levels and grow capacity to fill the gap in product availability for these 41 items. The Central Bank of Nigeria is investing massively in agriculture as a way of ensuring food security and curbing dependence on food imports, which had reached astronomical levels a few years ago. The CBN now gives farmers loans for as low as 9% to increase productivity and scale in order to satisfy growing demand for local products occasioned by the non-availability of imported products.
Because of the low interest rate, I would say that it has helped us to be able to maintain some level of profitability, maybe 10–15%, even though a whole lot of it is still plowed back to providing amenities like power and all of that. But the truth of the matter is the low interest rates have helped us to be able to be profitable.
So I think we've received about 2 billion naira under the CAX scheme, which is a intervention finance with a affordable interest rate, and that's allowed us to invest in capital expenditure. We've expanded our processing facility because of this intervention funds that we received, and that's actually allowed us to improve our total beverage production output. It has led to probably 100–120 direct employment, and we normally use a ratio of 5 to 6 direct to indirect, so close to 600–700 indirect employment in the entire value chain. So it's been a great initiative of the CBN, and I think this is something which is very encouraging for bona fide manufacturers and investors of this economy.
The idea here is to reduce imports while simultaneously enhancing local production.
Of course, the Anchor Brand Scheme will also help us to be able to increase our raw material outlay so that we'll stop having seasonal production. We'll increase the raw material inflow, also with the purpose of increasing capacity to meet more Nigerian demand. Invariably, what this will mean is that the amount of money Nigeria currently uses to import starch into Nigeria will be saved. From starch in Nigeria, I'm sure we import heavy. I don't have the exact figure, but I know it's quite huge. When you hear the names of companies that use this product, nothing less than 50 companies use starch in one form or the other in Nigeria currently, and I'm talking of big time companies. So if we're able to meet even ordinary 50% of their demand, then that's a lot of forex savings for Nigeria. So it's worth looking at, it's worth working on. It's advantageous for CBN to look at it critically and say, okay, we want to tackle cassava. I'm happy that cassava is one of the crop under the Anchor Brand Scheme. actually also to support companies like us to be able to have raw material, so that when we produce, we can reduce the amount of starch and starch-related products coming into Nigeria, invariably reducing the amount of forex that is going for importation.
Though some Nigerians cried foul at the initial sufferings this policy might bring to the country, the CBN stuck to its guns, reminding Nigerians that the slight discomfort the policy might bring was worth it compared to the enormous benefits that will accrue to the nation in terms of self-sufficiency, capacity development and utilization, and the reduction in demand for foreign exchange by importers. Although the policy was born in response to a global economic recession, many are of the opinion that the policy should have been implemented even earlier than now.
Basically, the aim is to, let's say, bring and enhance manufacturing in Nigeria for Nigerian products. What we had before was people or companies that were importing, dumping products in Nigeria, and the local manufacturers could not, let's say, benefit. By having some restrictions, of course, you're not only helping the existing manufacturers like us, but also you invite companies from overseas to invest in Nigeria. If they think that they can, it's profit. Investment is about profit. If investors think that they can make profit in Nigeria, they will come to Nigeria. So this is the logic of this policy. This is what I understand. It's and I would say it was something that it was very much needed. Very much needed.
The majority of Nigerians who support the CBN policy say the country's importation indices were becoming dangerously unsustainable, draining Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves and stifling local manufacturing.
The first thing is, do you have the foreign exchange to give? We're being told we don't. The policy in principle is a good one because there is no way such a huge population of people can be fed from outside. It's not a sustainable prospect at all.
If you import, you're fueling employment in those countries and creating unemployment here. So how do you reflate the economy with that? When the purchasing power of people are going down? No. No, what CBN should do is, it's a very simple thing. You look at the local capacities you have. Reinforce those capacities because you have to start from somewhere. So as they are getting enough forex and they are expanding their operation, over time, these capacities will be achieved. That is the truth. So ad hoc measure that, oh, there is pressure, the scarcity of this import negates the gain you've made. So importation is not the solution. The solution lies on those factors that will enable the local capacity to be increased. Because in the long term, that is the solution. In the short term, importation is an ad hoc solution. Yeah, you're fueling employment in those countries where you're importing from and creating unemployment in your own country. So you haven't solved any problem.
I think is a step in the right direction, and the reasons are not far-fetched. Some companies are already established. They're already employing labor, huge amounts of labor. We just must protect those companies. Otherwise, if you continue to allow importation of those products that are already being produced massively in Nigeria, then the effect is that you are going to more or less kill those companies. If the companies die, then they will drop staff, there will be more people in the job labor. Economy will become harder for more people. So I think some industry that are already established should be protected. Those established companies, those producing certain products like the 41 products, they should not be allowed, those goods should not be allowed to be imported into Nigeria, because that's the only way we can protect our industries locally.
In the 10 years between 2005 and 2015, for instance, Nigeria's import bill grew from 148.3 billion naira per month to 917.6 billion naira per month. In 2013 alone, Nigeria imported food products such as milk, sugar, rice, wheat, and fish up to the tune of 901 billion naira. Today, the CBN policy has ensured that all these products are produced locally, saving the country about 1 trillion naira annually.
100% of egg powder was being imported into this country. 75% of frozen chicken was being smuggled into this country. Since the foreign exchange situation, even though we have not been able to create the industry for egg powder, it has started. And the exchange rate has made it increasingly difficult and expensive to continue to smuggle in chicken as it was before. So we have seen some changes in that regard.
Our company, we buy, for example, some of the items on 41 lists, which we buy locally. So palm oil is one of them, margarine is the other. We buy meat and beef locally for our sausage and snacks business. So in these we have seen prices increase because access to international imports are restricted. We have, in our effort, through various R&D initiatives, through various other cost-saving initiatives, tried to not pass on the entire impact to the consumer. But like I said before, I think long-term this is a very powerful strategy. And it is in the overall good of the economy in the long run.
By the way, my farmers are buying Jeep today, just selling cars. We have about 5 farmers in the last 3 years that have bought Jeeps. We have about 50 or more farmers that have bought Toyota cars. Countless of them are building houses. Their lives are actually being transformed. And that gives us joy.
Beyond conserving scarce foreign exchange by reducing unnecessary demand for foreign currencies by importers, CBN policies are helping drive up demand for locally made products.
Today, even though there are difficulties and challenges as we imagine for a new business, one problem that we don't have is a demand for a product. Rice. I mean, you can see a sample of the rice on my table. A bigger challenge today is having to meet the demand. People are lining up. Right? We were at Anambra State trade fair this month. We had long queues of people who want to buy rice, but unfortunately we were able to only give them, up to the limited amount that we had, at that point.
For a country that boasts of the largest market in Africa, this can only mean good times for local manufacturers who now have the impetus to invest massively in the Nigerian manufacturing sector.
My company is a classic example. We are a Nigerian company producing films, BOPP films, for the packaging industry. And since you apply this policy, it's the first time that we turn to profit. Not only that, the profit that we are making now, we are investing. We already have on order machinery from overseas to expand. This could not happen 3-4 years ago. We are a very good example of a company that it was losing big money because of the importation and dumping that we have from certain products in Nigeria. And now we are in a situation with the profit that we made, not only to sustain our business, but also to grow.
Currently, as part of this drive which has come up, we have put up a lot of investment in the country. Especially, we have started an animal feed business with feed mills as well as integrated hatchery, which is to the level of $160 million, which is supposed to be the largest in the continent of Africa. We have also significantly enhanced our rice production capacity through our commercial farm, which is in Nasarawa State, as well as with a double the capacity, double the numbers increased on the outgrowers program.
So I would say the policy has triggered a lot of interest in mechanized farming. It's not just Kocharis. I'm sure you are hearing a lot of companies. You are going to see the impact maybe in 2 years, 3 years. Some of them are long gestation periods. But even Kocharis, what you are producing today is almost less than 10% of the capacity of that farm on food development. So each year, by next year, we'll double production. By 2018, we'll have covered the entire 3,000 hectares. Then begin to now focus on the outgrower. We have a lot of outgrowers within our area.
Although many would like to give him credit for these well-articulated policies that are changing the fortunes of Nigerian manufacturers and growing the economy, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, insists that the CBN is only doing the responsible thing by laying the foundation of a solid manufacturing base as the sensible alternative to an economy dependent on oil exports. On a tour of a new sugar manufacturing plant in Niger State, Mr. Emefiele encouraged Nigerians to take advantage of CBN's new policy initiatives.
So I want to encourage all of you, the farmers. Incidentally, the Central Bank of Nigeria has a program that is tagged the Anchor Borrower Program. Under the Anchor Borrower Program, the flour mills themselves has set themselves aside to say they will be the main off-taker for all your sugar cane. All you need to do, with the collaboration between the state government and the Central Bank of Nigeria, our team will be here to work with you to set up an Anchor Borrower Program where the farmers will be properly identified through our biometric verification numbers, identify you, and make micro and small scale loans available to you to cultivate your land to grow sugar cane, to cultivate your land to grow rice, because that is the only direction we can go. We have done so before in the country, but we abandoned these opportunities. But it's time for us to go back to the basics, just like the president normally says. The president says it's time to go back to land. It's time to go back to the basics, and I would encourage all of us to please join the president to ensure that we go back to land, to go back to the basics, because that is what will ensure that we create jobs for our people. This plant will be providing over 25,000 jobs. I am sure by the time we get into the Anchor Borrower Program, we'll probably be providing another close to about 70 to 100,000 jobs. By the time we go into the Anchor Borrower Program for rice, I'm up to optimistic that we should be providing jobs for nothing less than 100,000 people. That is how to grow the economy. That is how to develop a state.
And that is how to bring the dividend of democracy to our people.
He also had some advice for the manufacturer on expediting job creation opportunities for the surrounding communities.
But I think what's interesting is real outgrowers that are from different parts of the state can be able to take their sugar here.
Yeah, we're saying there are people who are growing sugar cane in different parts of the state.
Yes, correct.
They don't have to just be in your contiguous.
No, they don't.
Okay. We want to have a program. You set up a program, even if it's not cost effective for you. Let's get to know. Let the government know about it.
Yes.
Because we want them to be gainfully employed there.
Yes. Yes.
So bring their sugar cane here.
Yes.
You can even have middlemen that can buy them and bring them to you.
Exactly.
You buy them, create jobs for them.
Yes.
Yes, we like the fact that it should be around you, but even if it's far from you, let's have a program that can take their sugar cane.
The economics of being around you is better for you.
Correct.
But for the other social benefits,
we want to create jobs for
as a government. We've got people producing even near Bida here.
The CBN's proactive approach to growing the economy has yielded many positive results. One such positive is its impact on the Nigerian psyche, the bolstering of national pride and belief that products made in Nigeria are good enough for both local consumption and export.
We can see that it is actually possible for us to export food and food items from this country. We have seen it is possible for us to significantly increase local production. We have seen it is quite possible for us as a country to become a net exporter of food.
It has given a lot of consciousness to the industry within the industry, as well as to the general public about the requirement of the country's need to be self-sufficient in its domestic production. And this announcement has taken the local production to a further enhanced level as of now.
Now, coming to the policy itself, I believe that one key thing that policy has done is made Nigerians looking worse, both producers like us and consumers. Now, the days of imported rice being the premium product is long gone. We are seeing that clearly today. Because we have advantages that those imported products cannot compete with.
Food, edible items are better when they are made fresh. That is the bottom line. You know, I mean, look at Chivita for instance. It was the time they banned biscuit in 2003, juices were banned. Despite the fact they were still smuggling it. Nigerians got to understand that it's better you buy fresh, locally made stuff than things you don't know where it was packaged. And you see, most of these things that we are importing, some of them are really test-wise is not good for our people, because each country these things are coming from have their own local taste, criteria that they use in making those things for their people. Now we are bringing things from different parts of the world and our people are consuming, and nobody really knows the medical implication of those things.
In very simple terms, increase in demand means increase in supply. This will naturally lead to the supplier increasing his capacity to produce, and the only way to do that is to increase staff strength by employing more people. This is a basic model of job creation. The Central Bank of Nigeria, through the implementation of policies aimed at growing the economy, has unleashed an enormous amount of capacities and created new possibilities for many Nigerians. Today, Nigerians are getting used to the new order, realigning to new economic realities and making the necessary adjustments to usher the country into an era of sustainable economic growth. A growth that will ensure prosperity and a good quality of life for every Nigerian for many years to come.